The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has an open investigation right now into why the engines in certain trucks built between 2021 and 2024 keep dying. A brand new pickup has turned into one of the fastest ways to torture savings. Window stickers are sailing past $60, $70, even $80,000. And the machine you drive home is packed with turbochargers, cylinder deactivation, and more computers than the average passenger jet. Every one of those is a bill waiting to land the moment the warranty runs out. Here is what nobody talks about. Right now, on used lots and in private driveways, there are trucks under 10 grand that will outlive anything a dealer can sell you today. And no, not rusted out beaters held together with zip ties. I mean overbuilt, mechanically honest workhorses the market has completely forgotten. We are running down 10 of them today. Here we go. Number 10, the GMC Sonoma, 1994 to 2004. I already know the reaction. This truck is ancient, and you are not wrong. But give me a minute. Under the hood sits the 4.3-liter Vortec 5.6, and that engine is essentially a Vortec 5.8 with 2 cylinders sawed off. Low revs, big torque, the personality of a small tractor. No turbos, no variable valve timing, nothing clever enough to leave you stranded. It just hauls, and then it keeps hauling. There is a long-running joke among Sonoma owners. The door handles snap, the radio quits, the dash slowly shakes itself to pieces, and meanwhile the engine and transmission stroll past 300,000 miles like nothing happened. That is the bargain on the table. Ugly, rattly, and almost impossible to kill. Parts cost next to nothing too, because this thing shares half its bones with the S10 and the Blazer. Pay 3 to 5 grand and you get a work truck still running long after the neighbor's EcoBoost F150 is on engine number 3. Number 9, the Nissan Titan, 2008 to 2015. This one gets ignored to a criminal degree. You are looking at a 5.6-liter V8, the VK56DE, and a truck that sells for a fraction of an equivalent Tundra. Starting in 2008, Nissan beefed up the rear differential to handle all that torque, the loudest complaint on the earliest trucks. The motor is a flat-out workhorse. Owners tend to praise 2 things above everything else: the shove when you put your foot down, and, a little surprisingly, the cabin. The first-generation Titan was built with one of the roomiest, most comfortable interiors in its class, and long-haul drivers rated among the easiest places to spend a full day. One thing to listen for on high-mileage examples is a ticket cold startup. That can mean cracked exhaust manifolds, a known weak spot on these trucks. Not catastrophic, but worth knowing before you buy, or worth knocking the price down. Past that, this is a big, genuinely capable V8 truck selling at a steep discount. Number 8. The Chevrolet Silverado 1500, 1999 to 2006, the GMT 800. This is where it starts getting interesting. This generation runs the LS-based 5.3-liter Vortec 5.8. And if engines mean anything to you, you know the LS family carries an almost mythical durability record. Strong power, dead simple design, proven over hundreds of thousands of miles in nearly every machine GM ever bolted it into. Here is what matters about this exact window of years. No FM. No active fuel management. No cylinder deactivation of any kind. That fuel-saving system, the one Chevy piled on in later generations, became one of the most expensive failure points in the whole truck world. Collapsed lifters, oil vanishing out the tailpipe, chewed-up camshafts. The GMT 800 has none of it. It is just a clean, naturally aspirated V8 doing its job. Parts supply is borderline ridiculous. Owners call this the cat eye generation, and they will point out you can grab a water pump at a gas station and bolt it on yourself in under an hour. That is the whole appeal. Anybody, anywhere can fix it for almost nothing. Number 7. The Honda Ridgeline, 2009 to 2014. I can already hear the keyboards warming up. Yes, the Ridgeline is a unibody. Yes, it tows less than everything else on this list. But if you are not dragging a fifth wheel, this truck is a quiet revelation. The 3.5-liter J35 V6 is one of the smoothest, most refined engines Honda has ever produced. Efficient and basically drama-free as long as you keep up with the maintenance. Ridgeline Owners Club members routinely log 200,000 plus miles on nothing but oil changes and fluids. The VTM4 all-wheel drive setup is underrated too, and people in snow country will defend it to the grave. Then there is the in-bed trunk, a sealed lockable storage box molded into the floor of the bed. One of those features you never knew you wanted until the day you use it. If what you need is a comfortable, reliable daily driver that happens to have a bed, and heavy towing is not on the menu, the Ridgeline at this price is awfully hard to argue with. Number 6. The Mazda B Series, 1994 to 2009. This is where the list gets fun. The B Series is, mechanically, 100% Ford Ranger. Same frame, same engines, same drivetrain. Mazda and Ford ran a partnership for years, and the B Series was effectively a Ranger wearing a different suit of sheet metal. So why does it earn a spot here? Because hardly anybody shops for it by name. Everyone hunting a used Ranger crowds that market and drives prices up, while those who know the B Series go find the identical truck for noticeably less. The community calls it dodging the Ranger tax. The B2300, the 2.3-liter four-cylinder version, is widely seen as the sweet spot for fuel economy and long-term simplicity. If it is your first truck and money is tight, this is one worth chasing down on purpose. Quick thing before we keep rolling. If any of this is useful to you, tap that like button. It genuinely helps the channel. All right, back to it. Number 5. The Ford Ranger, 1998 to 2011. The one to hunt for is the 2.3-liter Duratec 4-cylinder. And here is the detail that makes it such a long-haul winner. It runs a timing chain, not a belt. No belt buried in there waiting to snap. No 100,000-mile belt service hanging over your head. No surprise bill sitting on the calendar. That kind of simplicity is exactly what you want when the odometer climbs into the high numbers. The forums nicknamed this truck the Cockroach, and trust me, that is a compliment. It is not quick, and it is not pretty, but it flat out refuses to die. There is one famous quirk worth flagging, a thud or clunk from up front at low speed, usually as you pull away from a stop. It sounds alarming. It is nothing. A $10 tub of grease on the drive shaft slip yoke makes it disappear. That is the level of fix-it in the driveway we are talking about. Number 4. The Suzuki Equator, 2009 to 2012. This might be the best kept secret on the whole list. Here is the story. The Equator is not merely similar to a Nissan Frontier, it is a Frontier built by Nissan on the Frontier platform. With the same 4.0-liter V6, the same frame, the same everything. Suzuki slapped its badge on it, sold it for a few years, and then walked away from the US market. Which means these trucks now go for a real discount against an identical Frontier, purely because buyers do not recognize the name on the tailgate. Every Nissan Frontier part bolts straight onto the Equator. The catalog is huge and cheap. Owners joke that the badge doubles as theft protection because nobody steals what they have never heard of. Insurance often comes in lower than the Frontier 2 on the exact same vehicle. Find a clean one and it is a no-brainer. Number 3. The Toyota Tacoma, and specifically the 2013 to 2015 model years. The year range really does matter here. These are widely considered the final, fully sorted version of the second-generation Tacoma. The engine is the 4.0-liter 1GR V6. And anyone on a Tacoma forum knows this motor has a real cult following. It is noticeably tougher and longer lived than the 3.5-liter that replaced it in the third generation. By 2013, Toyota had also dealt with the frame rust nightmare that haunted the earlier second-gen trucks. So you get the beloved proven powertrain without the corrosion baggage of the mid-2000s models. Owners have started calling it the Goldilocks truck. Not too big, not too small, easy to wrench on, and parts on every shelf. The one quirk to know about, some of these sit with a slight lean toward the driver's side when parked. They call it the taco lean. It looks wrong. It is just a suspension geometry quirk, and it changes absolutely nothing. So do not let it chase you off an otherwise clean truck. Number 2, the Nissan Frontier 2011 and newer. That year cutoff is the whole point. Before 2011, these trucks had a notorious flaw where engine coolant could bleed into the transmission through the radiator. The problem that earned the grim nickname SMOD, the strawberry milkshake of death. It was every bit as ugly as it sounds. Nissan redesigned the radiator around that point, and from there on, the Frontier turned into one of the most boringly dependable trucks you can buy. The 4.0-liter VQ40DE V6 spins a timing chain instead of a belt, so there is no 100,000-mile belt service and no nasty surprise repair waiting for you. The chain is built to last as long as the engine does. And here is a detail the Frontier crowd loves. The oil filter sits right at the front of the engine, facing straight out, easy to reach. An oil change takes about 10 minutes. Small thing, but over years of ownership that adds up. Parts are everywhere, because the platform barely changed for close to a decade, which means a deep, cheap supply of everything. And these trucks regularly roll past 200,000, 250,000, even 300,000 miles when you actually look after them. Number 1, and it is not close, the Toyota Tundra 2007 to 2021. The heart of it is the 5.7-liter iForce V8, naturally aspirated, no turbos, no cylinder deactivation, no variable displacement, just a huge, over-engineered V8 that barely breaks a sweat. While Ford was strapping EcoBoost turbos onto everything, and GM was wrestling with lifter failures from its FM system, Toyota simply kept dropping this engine into trucks and watching the miles pile up. The million-mile Tundra is not a campfire story. There are documented, verified examples out there. It is rare, but the fact that it is even on the table tells you everything about how this thing was built. Owners single out how the transmission handles heat. You can tow near the limit in summer heat over and over, and it just shrugs it off, which most rivals from this era cannot claim. Yes, the Tundra costs more on the used market than anything else here, because the reputation is real and baked straight into the price. But even so, a 2010 or 2012 Tundra at 120,000 miles is often a smarter long-term bet than a newer truck full of complicated, failure-prone hardware. If you want one truck, bought once, that you can run straight into the ground over the next 15 years, this is your answer. That is the full 10 for today. Drop your own experience down in the comments. I will catch you in the next